Hello and welcome. This session I have called Welcome the Heat, and it's one of my favourite sequences that I'd like to share with you. So come to sit at the back of your mat, on your heels or in a cross-legged position, whatever feels good for you today. Feeling length through the spine, closing down the eyes, gently bring your palms together and just notice, before we do anything else, the temperature of your skin as your palms gently press into each other. So depending on where you've been and what room you're in and what time of year or day you're doing this practice, this will vary. But it's something we're just going to keep an eye on. What temperature is our skin, and can we feel the heat generated by our own body? So just keeping that in mind, start to notice your breath. And we'll notice how the breath can affect the heat of our body. We know that our systems, our respiratory and our circulatory system, are of course all working together. Whilst we think of them as different systems, the body is always connected. Keeping the eyes closed, reach the arms up and overhead and take your right hand behind the head or behind the neck. So bending at the elbow, use your left hand to gently press on top of the right elbow just to open out the right shoulder. Try to keep your head up rather than taking it down to the chest for this. Take a couple of breaths here, just applying gentle pressure to that right elbow. We don't want to yank the elbow down. On the next inhale, release both arms up to overhead as we bend the left elbow. So we're just switching on to the other side. The left hand comes behind the neck, fingers facing down the backbone. Gently just pressing that right hand into the left shoulder, the left elbow. Release both arms up and overhead and look towards your fingers, pressing the hands together through the center line as you come back into Anjali Mudra. As we come up, lifting the hips, we're going to take the arms up and overhead. Reaching those arms up, take the left leg and we're going to step it forwards as we come into a low lunge. And then place the hands onto that left knee. So we're just pressing the left foot forwards. Now, working into this lunge, we're going to roll through the spine, drawing the belly button back. And inhale, press the chest forwards all the time. Just noting how the heels, how the hips are feeling. So we want the pressure on our feet to be nice and equal as we work through something similar to a cat-cow stretch through the spine in our low lunge. And you might want to stay a bit longer at the end of your inhale. Perhaps it feels good to work those hips down a little, or perhaps the rounding of the spine feels quite nice and you'd like to press down here. So whatever you have come to, just continue for a couple more breaths before we find a nice neutral position. Keeping the hands on that front knee, press down in the front foot, press down in your shin of your back foot, and feel like you want to bring the two together, so really active legs. Good, now releasing the hands while we've got those active legs, tuck the back toes under, take the arms up and overhead. We're going to see if we can lift the back knee, hold, breathe here, so we're in a high lunge. Reach those arms forwards as you take the body forwards, sweep the arms back and up. So we're making big circles with the shoulders, while those lower legs, the lower parts of the body, is staying exactly where it is. So take all those principles that we are learning for our balancing pose here into our strength. One more. Bring your hands back down to that front knee. Gently lower the back knee. Untuck the back toes. Take the fingertips now to frame that front foot and slowly start to sink the hips, back, coming into your runner's lunge. Take the toes of your front foot towards your face for a stronger stretch, or keep them flat on the mat if that's more comfortable for you. So you can make any adjustments here that you need to. Just taking time to square your hips and shoulders to the front of the mat. You could always place your hands on blocks to elevate the chest a little here. Lengthening through the spine, think about inhale to lengthen and exhale, bending those elbows, bringing the chest a little bit nearer towards that front thigh. Let's find our breath here. Really working into that left thigh here. Good. Send those hips forwards. Place the hands each side of that left leg. Tuck the toes of the right leg. Lift the right knee. Peel back the front leg to meet the back leg and zip your legs up. And now we've got two options. If you're working in down to chaturanga to up dog, you can take that option, or come with me. Everybody lower down very slowly all the way to the mat. Untucking the toes, inhale to cobra. Exhale, come down. Tuck the toes, press into the knees, press into the hands to half plank, lifting the knees, and take your weight all the way into downward facing dog. So we'll all meet in down dog. That was a nice long stretch on one side. We're going to move on to the other side now. Coming onto the toes, start to bend the knees, and you're going to bring yourself into all fours very slowly. Good. Untuck the toes. Bring the right foot between the hands and slowly start to sink the hips forwards as we inhale, arms up and overhead, come to low lunge. Reach those fingertips up, keeping the chest, head, neck and spine tall. Bring the hands down to the top of your right knee, and then we can start to let some of that stretch come to the right thigh. So first check into the right foot. Have we got enough even balance on the toes and the heels? Now let's work through our cat-cow variation here. So inhaling, taking the chest forwards, sinking the hips down, exhaling, rounding through the spine. And you can just work with your own breath here. You don't need to stay with my pattern. You will be feeling different, and that's absolutely fine. Respond to what your body is asking you, what it needs just now. And if you want to stay a bit longer in one of these poses, just allow yourself that time. And when you're ready, come back to center. Start to press into the front foot and press into the back shin as we release the arms up and overhead, really pressing and start to draw them together. So we've got strong active legs. Tuck those left toes under, keep with those active legs as we extend through the left leg. So you're coming into your high lunge. Reach arms up and overhead, keep the lower body as it is as you reach the body forwards. Inhale, take those arms up and overhead. So you're sweeping the whole body forwards before you make the movement with the shoulders to sweep the arms back. So the body stays forwards until those arms come back. Let's do one more. When you're ready, take their hands down to the knee as we slowly lower that back knee. Untuck the back toes. Take the fingertips to frame that front foot. We know we're going to make our way into Ardha Hanuman. Runner stretch or half splits. Sinking back with the hips. Draw those right toes to the face if your hamstrings are enjoying that. Otherwise, place the foot flat on the mat. So either variation is perfectly good. And always use blocks on your hands if you feel you'd benefit from raising that chest a little. Working with your breath, listening to what your body needs. Start to draw that right hip back as we send the chest forwards. Close down the eyes if you feel that would help you to really link that breath in with the movement. Take your body forwards as you come back to your low lunge. Tuck your back toes, raise your back knee and peel back the front foot to meet the back, zipping those legs together. So we're all going to have a go here at Chaturanga through to upward facing dog. So come onto the toes, hug your elbows in, look down towards the mat, and just before that body hits the mat, we're going to push through, let the body come onto the fronts of the feet, lift those thighs off the mat and extend through your elbows as you come to your upward facing dog. Don't forget to breathe here. Now you can lower the knees and come to half plank, or you can lift the hips all the way through to downward facing dog if that's accessible. So don't worry if any of these transitions are not for you today. Take your time. Just make your way into downward dog or into child's pose. And if you're in child's pose, just take a breath or two here before making your way back into down dog. Good. Look between your hands. Take your right foot and your left foot forward. So nice big steps into forward fold. And then we're going to start to release a little bit deeper here by holding on to opposite elbows, working our chest a little bit deeper down. If we feel more comfortable, we can soften the knees, bringing that chest onto the thighs, maybe allowing us to get a little deeper into our forward fold. So explore that option. And with your chest securely on your thighs, then we can see how it feels to start to extend the legs. Release the hands down to the mat, slowly coming into your flat back extension. Long full inhale here. Exhale back to your forward fold. Good. Start to ripple through the spine as we come to our Tadasana, ragdolling the body all the way up. Take the arms up and overhead. As we go, bring the palms together and gently pressing them through the center line, come back to your standing Tadasana with your palms together and release your arms with the palms facing forward, Samastiti. Full breath in through the nose, out through the nose. Option here to come onto your toes. Keep your arms away from the body if you can. Find that eye gaze, soft breath. Finding that integrity of your core that's helping keep your trunk upright. This is great for your back muscles. You don't often think of a balance being good for back muscles, but it is really good because it's stabilizing the whole of your upper body. So you're working all those muscles that wrap around your core, front and back muscles. Well done. Now, can we bring our palms to heart center and slowly staying on the toes, we're going to send the hips down, making your way into chair pose variation. So bending the knees, sending your hips back, keeping your spine long, relax your shoulders, keep your thumbs on your heart center and find that Utkatasana variation still on the toes if you can, but by all means let the heels come down. And then we're going to keep going. So still bending those knees, sending the hips down towards the heels, making your way into a toe balance. Just for a moment before bumping the hips down onto the mat. And we're going to come straight into Navasana. So send the chest nice and high, extend through the spine. Fingertips behind the knees. Draw your knees together today as we lean back and bring your shins level with the mat, level with the floor. Point your toes. If you feel stable enough, we're going to let the hands just trace along the outside edges of the feet and have a little bit of fun here. So if you can hold onto either your ankles, or maybe it's just your calves, or it can be behind your knees, so any of these options. Keeping the spine long, start to keep and pinning your knees together so the legs are nice and zipped together. Start to extend the legs. So don't worry if you roll back. So if you feel like you're going to go backwards, roll your spine. So just make a nice curve, roll and come back up to centre. So what we're aiming to do is just to keep those shoulders away from the ears. Keep the legs pinning together and your hands can be behind your knees the whole time. We're seeing if we can have some fun to extend the legs, and you're playing with your balance here, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Relax your chin and your jaw, and don't forget to breathe. So if we've got our hands behind our knees, we can really hold the backs of our thighs here. Well done. We're going to reverse all of this, so keeping those legs zipped together, come back to that level position where we started, and then let the toes come all the way to the mat. And once they touch the mat, flatten your feet, wrap your arms around you, tuck that chin in and just give yourself a little hug, really rounding through the spine. And well done. This was not an easy balance there, one to have fun and work with. And then you can either slowly make your way now, rippling down into Shavasana, and just giving yourself a moment or two to really let the body soften and take in everything that you've been doing over the last 20 minutes. Or we can come to seated, so whichever option works for you, depending on what you've got going the rest of the day. But wherever you are, just take a moment or two to close down the eyes. Allow your palms to feel soft, and then gently bring your palms together. So even if you're lying down in Shavasana, this will work. So bring your palms together, gently press them. And as your eyes are closed and we're focusing on the sensations of our body, just note the temperature of your hands and the temperature of your blood as it travels throughout the body. Note the depth of your breath, maybe the beating of your heart, and how all of these things, all of our systems are interconnected. If you're in seated pose, then just let your chin come to your chest. Allow your breathing to slow down, slowly returning to its natural rhythm. Taking all the time you need on your mat before you step into the rest of your day. Thank you very much for practicing once again. Namaste.